Hey there, everybody. It is 6 o'clock Central on Sunday evening. Oh, and wouldn't you know it, my live stream would start with a commercial over there on the side. Let's skip that ad. I can skip my own ads. So who do we have in here? Let me get my chat popped out. I had that before I had to skip my commercial or skip my ad. So Dickard with Dave, MSL, James Bergeron, and Soldier of Dirt 81. Thanks for joining in. So we've got 6 of you guys watching right now. So anyway, before we get going too deep in this, I kind of hijacked Brandon's live stream last night. John Warren, how are you doing? But Brandon with Elite Earthworks, he sent me a link and I jumped on his live stream. You guys were probably all there. There's Josh Cox. I actually worked with him. Shooters Option Targets, how are you doing? But Mike Manfred, no Charles tonight. Okay. Hi, Mike. How are you doing? Before I get too far into this, I want to apologize to Brandon because I think I don't know if I made him mad. I was kind of picking on him and his wife a little bit. And I didn't mean any harm by it. It was just picking on him a little bit. So, Brandon, if I did upset you, I'm sorry. I want to get that out of the way first and foremost because that's the most important. I tried texting him this morning. He hadn't responded. And I tried calling him and he didn't answer. So I don't know if he's legitimately mad or if he's just busy. But if I did upset you, Brandon, I apologize. Let's see. Who else do we have on here? Videos by Al. How are you doing? Zach Bray. Paul Woolner. Dwight Verbarg. What's up? Dwight's a new name. We got a few new people in here. So welcome to the channel. And I try to make this channel about you guys. So whatever you guys want to see, give me some ideas and I will try to get footage of it. Almost 17,000 miles on 2012 Ram 3500. Been camping. Almost 17,000 miles. You almost got that thing wore out. It's not even broke in yet at 17,000 miles. But also last night, we were kind of chatting with Soldier Dirt 81 in Brandon's live stream. So go check out his channel. He's got an Instagram account, and he's also got a YouTube channel. It's Soldier of Dirt 81. I don't have my contacts in, so you guys will probably see me squinting quite a bit. Good times last night with the live stream. John Warren, the coil unloading is done. And Josh Cox was working with me on that job. He can tell you how much of a pain that was. That was a lot of steel coils. There's a lot of heavy coils. And they worked basically continuously in the rain. I think there was only one day that it didn't rain. Fortunately, I was in a cab, so it didn't really affect me as much other than visibility. But Josh Cox and some other guys, they really worked their butts off in the rain. So hats off to those guys. Let's see who else we have. Paul Woolner, Project Ninja. How are you doing, Project Ninja? I did. Thanks for the like on the new model crane. I did get another crane. If you guys didn't see that in my quick live stream that I did, what was that, Friday? Tadano sent me a diecast GR 1000, so it's a 100-ton picker, but that's the diecast version of it, and obviously a hat, and some other stuff. So who else do we've got 29 viewers, I think, watching right now. 27 watching. 29. Oh, there's 29. Dale Whitehead. Hey, hello from St. Joe. Saying hi from Kansas City. So he's just my neighbor to the south. Videos by Alf. How far are the coils being hauled? I think they were being hauled about an hour away over into Kansas. We didn't haul them. They had trucks lined up that were just running a round trip route. We were loading coils. They'd take them and unload them at the facility, come right back, get another coil. I think it was taking about an hour and a half round trip. Hey, digging okay. How are you doing? Project Ninja doing all right. First snow here in Iowa today. Yeah, I think we're supposed to get a little bit of snow today as well. Fish fine 3,000. Just checking in. Got to eat dinner. I'll try to catch you later. Well, thanks for stopping in. I'll probably be on here for a couple hours. Scott Becker, hello from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hello from basically St. Joseph, Missouri. Okay, Gary Johnson, how are you doing tonight, Gary? And Gary is one I really try to keep track of. Gary, if they've been hit with the gamut this year, he had a heart attack. His wife, I think, had been diagnosed with cancer before and then diagnosed with it again. But he's saying she only needs 2 weeks of chemo this time. So everybody keep Gary and his family in your thoughts and prayers. Digging okay, so it's too wet to dig here. Yeah, I think we got about 8 or 10 inches of rain last week. So we went all summer in a drought. I think the drought is now over. At least I would like to believe so. James Bergeron, no, we are not doing a 6-hour live stream tonight. I've only done one of those. Actually, I can't say that. I think I did about a 5-hour live stream on another channel. Actually, it was broken up into 2 channels. That was when I first started this YouTube thing. And I was on Randy with G4 Outdoors channel for a while. And then we went to Lanier Lawn Care, Danny Lanier's channel. I think it was 5 hours. And there's MSL logging. MSL, you caught one tonight, buddy. How are you doing, MSL? He, the last few live streams I've done, he missed them. So also, I apologize I haven't uploaded any video this week. It has just been busy, just crazy busy. I'm actually ready for it to slow down a little bit. But I haven't had time to edit and upload. Typically, like a 15-minute video, it takes me about 2 hours to edit it. So by the time I get home from work, I don't really feel like sitting in front of a computer and spending 2 hours editing a video. So I apologize for not getting anything up. I've got a lot of footage that I need to go through and probably 10 videos worth of footage. Some stuff from even back into last spring that I haven't uploaded yet. And I hate to put you guys through it, but I've got 2 more tank videos coming up, 2 separate jobs. And it seems like all I've done this year is tanks, but I've got 2 more tanks in queue. So actually be 3 because one job had 2 tanks on it. So, but there's that. So let me get caught up on comments again. Jeff Skews, how are you doing? Josh Cox, it was cold, miserable, but because of being wet boots, wet socks, wet gloves, etc. We unloaded roughly 6 million pounds of coils. Yep, says can't complain too much. That's why we make the good money. And I actually kind of felt bad for all the guys that had worked out in the rain all week. So Friday we went to lunch, and I bought everybody's lunch because I was sitting in the crane cab all week with a heated seat and heat and out of the rain in a t-shirt while those guys were out there just getting drenched and cold. James Bergeron should start doing some live streams. Here's the thing with live streams, James. I don't know how many subscribers you've got so far. But you need to have at least a few that are going to tune into your live stream. So make sure if you start a stream and you don't have anybody coming on it, shut it down because it will hurt your analytics. Josh Cox says, thanks for lunch. You don't need to thank me for that. Thanks for making it easy for me in the crane. If you have good ground people when you're operating a crane, it does make things a lot easier. Jason Helsley, how are you doing, Jason? I hope everything's going well with you. I don't know how your dialysis stuff's working out, but I hope that it's doing the best that it can be doing. Josh Wellner, how you doing, Josh? Still waiting for Josh to ship some lobster. He's probably still waiting for me to order some. But Josh, if I ordered some from you guys out there in Maine, can you realistically get it here to the Midwest? Like if I bought some from you? And it doesn't have to be live. Actually, I would probably prefer that it wasn't because my wife would freak out if I go throwing a live lobster in a pot of boiling water. Like when we walk into Red Lobster and she sees the ones in the tank, she's like, "Don't you order a lobster because I don't want to. I don't want to watch you go out there and choose which one's going to die." Well, MSL Logan's fixing to buy him a good GI truck. There'll be some cool videos. Oh, you're going to buy like a deuce and a half? I know Chris with Let's Dig 18 had one for sale. John Warren. Have you got your hands on the old crane cable yet? Which crane cable? Josh Wellner says Ant ships live lobster all over the U.S. overnight, I think. Yeah, how about just the tails? I'll I'll try to figure out. I think you're on Instagram, maybe. I don't know. I'll find you, get you a message. Jason Helpsley, it's going well. Jason Helpsley, that's good news. Losing 20 pounds. I mean, I don't know what kind of shape you're in, but losing 20 pounds doesn't sound like it would be too terrible of a feat. Excuse. Oh, the old friction crane. Yeah, I haven't operated that, and I'm trying to avoid that thing like the plague. I'm going to do my best to stay out of it. So James Bergeron's at 27 subscribers after last night's with Elite and Jason. So you ought to be able to pick up a few tonight on here. So if everybody wants to go check out James, see what he's got going on, if you like what he's doing, click the subscribe button. MSL Logging's got a long bed on it. Ain't the prettiest thing, but price is good. Does it have a Cummins in it? A lot of those, I think, had a Cummins. Some of them even maybe had a Detroit in them. That's a big thing. I mean, it doesn't have to be pretty for what you're going to tear it up out in the timber anyway. You'd probably prefer one that was a little beat up. Trying to stay caught up on comments. So what's everybody want to talk about tonight? Anybody got any questions related to crane stuff or equipment stuff? What we got going on? Seems like my most popular videos are about crane rigging and shackles. John Warren, you find out how good your leg and arm muscles are running that cable crane. Yeah, I'm going to stay out of that friction crane. I'm good. Oh, MSL said it's got a military motor in it. Can't remember the name. I don't know what all engines they used in this. Well, Jason, I mean that seems pretty reasonable. I think that'd be somewhat easy to attain. Losing 20. Lord knows I could stand to lose about 50. But I jokingly tell people the heavier I am, the safer the crane is because it has more counterweight in it. Digging okay. The friction cranes are a workout. I've actually never operated a friction crane. I've been an oiler on one, but I haven't sat in the seat and made one do something it's supposed to do other than like I've operated crawlers, but they were all hydraulic crawlers. Josh Wellner, is that a ladder underneath the front end of the Tadano? It is. It is a ladder, and we use that for when we're swinging the jib. We'll need a ladder to reach some stuff, and then also sometimes when we're reeving the block, if we have to put more parts of line in, sometimes we need a ladder to reach the tip of the boom. John Warren, you come help me tear my cat motor apart this week. Got to get it fixed. Which cat engine is it? Digging okay, Continental. Yeah, Continental built some multi-fuel GI truck engines. So by multi-fuel, are they running like the ability to run gasoline and or diesel, or is it like diesel and kerosene, or diesel, kerosene, jet fuel? Because I know jet fuel is basically kerosene, but James Bergeron asks, on the carrier, the crane, does it record as miles or hours like all heavy equipment does? It actually records both. Jennifer Murtha Stevens, hi, how are you? Everybody go check them out. That is where that beautiful hatchet, let me point to it, came from. And then also this axe that we are going to auction off when it gets a little, we're going to do it right around Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving in the United States. So it'll be towards the end of November. We're going to auction that off. And the general consensus was that we're going to donate the money to 98.9 The Rock's Hope for the Holidays. Paul Woolner, Jimmy was steel erector for about 10 years and not know how the cranes worked as far as getting the jib out. Another brief explanation would be great. Okay, I can do that. John Warren, 2W. That's what the Caterpillar engine is, the 2WS. I don't know that I'm even familiar with that cat engine. JB98, how are you doing? Okay, so I wonder if I could pick one of these without messing the cable up, the rope up too much. We'll grab the ATF because I've got two lines pulled on the new little die-cast crane. I'm going to fold this one up and show you essentially how we swing the jib. I can do that on this small scale pretty easily, I think. So I apologize if I'm missing anybody or any comments. Come on, boom. Let's go in now. That last boom section stuck. Okay, James Bergeron says, with hand signals for the crane, is dog everything mean to stop everything? What dog everything means is, like on the friction cranes, they have what's called a boom dog. And around the circumference of the boom winch, there's notches cut in the flange. And then that boom dog can actually lock into those notches to keep it from moving inadvertently. And that's called the dog. And it's actually just a little lever or a little cog that locks into those notches. And what that means when they give you the signal for dog everything is that you're going to be sitting there for a little bit. So you just as well put the crane in a configuration that it can't inadvertently move and hang out for a while. I'm going to end up breaking this thing, so what's going to happen? That'd be no good. Okay, so bear with me for a minute. I might have to get a little angry with the old toy crane here. Try to get this boom in. All right, there we go. Oh, better known as a C-15. Okay. Well, I've been around a few C-15s. I haven't rebuilt one, but I've worked on a few. Don't break it, not warranted. If I break it, I can fix it. Jason Helsley asks how they managed to miscalculate the weight on the anhydrous tank you set. I don't know because actually I do know it was a used tank, and they weren't exactly 100% positive on the wall thickness of the tank because it wasn't on the data plate. And when they loaded the crane, I think they loaded it in Illinois and brought it to Missouri. They used a rotator, so basically a wrecker, a semi wrecker on one end of it, and a crane on the other. And they were basing it off the weight on the scale on the crane because the rotator, I don't think, had a scale on it. So they miscalculated that on the fact that they were only picking one end with a scale. Okay, I'm going to show you on this little die cast kind of how we swing the jib. I will try to get some video next time we actually swing the jib. We don't do it very often on that big crane because most of the work we do around here isn't real high up. And with almost 200 feet of main boom, that crane can reach quite a bit in our area without putting the jib on it. And then someone asked in comments, it was a new subscriber, they wanted to see more of, or they actually wanted a video of one of our carry deck cranes. So I'll probably throw something together on that as well. But our carry deck cranes, we use those a lot in industrial plants, and most of those industrial plants have no recording policies in them. So we don't get to do a lot with video cameras when we're messing with those carry deck cranes. Okay, let me see if I can get the boom down on this thing now. It's pretty stiff as well. I'm really going to end up tearing this little model up is what's going to happen. Okay. Ordinarily, the jib would sit something like that on the side of the boom. It would be unpinned on here right now. It's pinned right here. It would be unpinned from the tip of the boom and pinned to the side of the stationary boom or the base boom. So to get it swung out, at least on the 200 or the ATF 180, it's got hydraulic hoses on it that have to be connected because it's got a hydraulic luffer. But you connect the hydraulic hoses. You remove a couple pins at the backside. So it would be, I think there's a pin about right in here, and then there's a pin about right in here. And you can pivot it over. You pivot it over until you can attach these two pins up front. There's actually, this is just one on the model, but there's two pins up here on the front. Once you get these attached, you put a tag line back here on the end of the jib and pull one more pin, and you can rotate it, and it just swings around on the end of the boom until you can get these two pins in. So once you get those two pins in, then you have to drag the cable out over the tip, and that's it. Then you just boom up and telescope out. So it's pretty easy, other than the jib is heavy. So it takes quite a bit of force to get it off of its rest. But hold it up higher. Josh Cox says, hold it up higher. You may go through all that again. That's stowed. And that's essentially what happens. Then you pin it off here, run your cable over the end, and boom up. So when we actually put the jib in, I'll get a video of it. All right, now let me get caught up again. James Bergeron said, okay, I never knew that. I found a sheet that I printed out that has the hand signals for cranes when I'm watching your videos. And I recorded some footage the other day where I had someone signaling me. And I was explaining what the signals were as they were giving them to me. So that's going to come out. It might take me a couple weeks to get that one out. Josh Wellner, you're not greasing your stuff. Grease is your friend. Well, I don't really want to grease this die-cast crane because the rod it holds the boom up by friction. So if I grease that, then it won't stay up with it all extended. Jason Helsley asks, how do I add the extra jib sections? Okay, I don't have extra jib sections for this die cast, but it does show where they go. So right here, there is a joint in the jib, and it's the same on the real crane. So you take these bottom pins out. So there's 2 pins down here in the bottom on the real crane. And then with the hydraulic luffer, and what hydraulic luffing is raising and lowering this piece, the jib, independently of the boom. So you take these bottom 2 pins out, and then you luff the jib down. And what that does is it causes it to open up right here at this joint. And then you lay this piece flat on the ground, take the top pin out, and then boom up out of it. So then you're left with just this piece of jib on the crane. You drop your cable over this piece, so your cable would be coming out right here. This would be on the ground. You pick up the other sections and line them all up, and then put the tip on them. So you have this with your inserts laying on the ground, all pinned together, and you drop this back into the back of the inserts and start pinning it as you raise the boom up. So hopefully that explains that. And we don't use those. We use those extra jib sections a lot less often than we do the actual jib. So I don't even know if I'll get footage of that for quite some time. In the 2 years that I've been operating that crane, or almost 2 years, we've only used those inserts once. Mr. Dan says there's a channel I might like. It's called RC Crane. Is that radio controlled cranes? Because I watch a few channels that have radio controlled cranes, and man, I want one of those, but they're all custom built and they're stupid expensive. But I'm going to check that channel out for sure. Jason says he thinks the only time you see me use them is when I put that cell phone tower up. That is the only time I've used them on that crane, was doing that cell phone tower. Everything else we've been able to do, like in the almost 2 years I've been operating it, everything else we've been able to do with main boom or just the swing away jib, which that's what they call the piece that's stowed on, and they call it stowed, not stored. For those that are going to be taking a crane certification test at some point, you definitely have to know the difference between stowed and stored. So, but the 43-foot piece of jib that's stowed on the side of the boom is what we use most of the time when we need jib. Mr. Dan says he thinks it's remote controlled. Yeah, some of those RC cranes are amazing. But then, you know, if I had a radio controlled crane and I was sitting in my house picking stuff, at that point, I will have put myself in a position where I could never get away from operating a crane. Jason Heltzley, I did get some footage of unloading the coils. I didn't get a lot. But that's one of those jobs you don't need a lot of footage on because it's monotonous. It's once you do one of them, you know how the other 120 are going to go, or 119. But I do have a little bit of footage, and that's the one that's going to take me a while to get it uploaded because I have to make a video and take it to the port owners and our owner, let them watch it, make sure that they're good with it before I upload it. JB98 did make the news last week. He sent me comment on Instagram where he was signaling a crane. Let's see, canal locks in Georgetown, D.C., and those canal locks look like they were put in the 1700s. So, and that was a cool video, cool article. Yes, Richard Savalio, thanks for pointing that out. I should have said something as I was talking about it, but stowed means that it's on the side of the crane. Stored means that it's completely off of the crane somewhere else. Eric Thomas said that was a good video with Elite and Jason and you. Well, thanks. And I'm hoping I didn't make Jason or make Brandon mad on that video. Let's see. James Bergeron says he's got an RC car he's working on, got it secondhand and needed a new body and possibly new batteries. I used to be real big in the RC hobby, so I've still got some RC cars that at some point I'll play around with. I've got an 8th scale nitro and a couple 10th scale battery. Richard Savalio says check out Crane Dude 07 for a massive crane collection. Josh Cox, we did make the news as well. There is an article on News Press Now, which is our local news station. If you guys wanted to see it, they've got a few pictures of when we were unloading, and they talk about the port a little bit. But News Press Now, they've got a video, and then the other one, I think they've got a written article that's got a picture of the crane with one of the coils flying through the air. Rich says, check out Crane Dude 07. Project Ninja says he's got some stock RC cars, no custom stuff. MSL Jason Brandon was a hoot. I'm sure they were just a riot down there or over there at Bunyan. I'm still kicking my butt for not going there. Mike Manfred is better than Saturday Night Live on the feed last night. That's a fact, JB98. It's nice making the news, and it's not about your crane going over. We want to avoid that at all costs. And I actually did a job down in Kansas City several years ago. And those that are familiar with the Kansas City area, there's an area called Leawood that they have some very, very expensive homes over there. And backed a crane up in a driveway, was setting up in this guy's driveway with a boom truck. And he bought one of those swim in place spas. So it's some $25,000 15-person hot tub that's got super powerful jets in it that where you can either sit in it like a hot tub or you can swim in place in it. And he wanted to set it over his house in the middle of his brand new $70,000 teak wood deck. So as I backed the crane into his driveway, the first thing that he asked me is, hey, have you seen that video on YouTube? And I stopped him right there. I said, I have seen the video on YouTube, and we're not even going to talk about it until we get your pool or get your hot tub set in the middle of your deck, and I'm tearing the crane down to leave. Once I get to that point, we can talk about that video all you want. Rich Savalios is Crane Dude 07. His name is Brandon, lives south of Indianapolis, closer to Louisville. Oh, I'll have to check him out. Jason Helsley says we've got an aluminum plant where he lives, and they use large overhead cranes to load trucks. Oh, watching a wrecker operator trying to load them with their truck. They can do some pretty neat stuff with those rotators, but a rotator is no replacement for a crane. I mean, it is in some cases, I guess, but the capabilities of a crane, especially on the scale, the one I operate and bigger, far exceed any rotator out there. Actually, I can pick up a rotator. So I would imagine if a rotator was in trouble, I would be what they would use to get the rotator out. Or another rotator, I guess. I think last video I uploaded was splicing Flemish eyes on that 1/4-inch cable that I had. That was just kind of an impromptu deal. I thought it may be something that you guys wanted to see. A lot of people know how to do it, but I figured, hey, why not? Soldier Dirt, I'm back. Had to eat dinner. Well, welcome back, Soldier Dirt. Josh Cox, is that vodka? It is not vodka. I have to work tomorrow. I don't drink on work nights. Brian Garnier, you don't see rotators picking up bridge beams. True story. I actually mentioned that, James, on one of Ron's videos, the one where he picked up the school bus. They said, hey, we could do a video like Lee Bear did at, I think they did that at Con Expo, where they picked up a series of cranes. I picked up a crane and then picked that crane up with a crane and then picked those two cranes up at the same time with a crane. And so I told Ron, I said, it'd be cool if we were closer. You could pick up the bus and I could pick up your rotator. So again, if you guys haven't made your way over to Soldier of Dirt 81, go check him out. Digging Okay, he's got some cool videos. He does a lot of digging down there in the red dirt. And he's got a really cool old link belt. Rich Sabalio said, yep, that was Con Expo. I'm going to try to go out to Con Expo in 2020. That is going to be a pretty serious show. 2.5 million square feet of equipment. MSL Logan's going to hit the sack. Hopefully have a good day of logging. Well, thanks for dropping in, MSL. Be safe out there tomorrow. I know what you guys do is terribly dangerous, so be safe. Project Ninja, yep, sub to both of them. Soldier of Dirt, Frank, thank you. You don't need to thank me, man. I'll help anybody I can help. Paul Warner, Jimmy, got to go. I'm already a half hour into Monday here. Hey, thanks for dropping in and being part of all this. I'm not sure what the frequency is of Con Expo. I know the next one is March 10th through the 14th, 2020. So I'm going to try to make my way out there. But I told my wife, I said, if we're going to go to that, we probably need to be booking a hotel room pretty quick. Sid Vicious, how are you doing? How are you doing this evening? Josh Cox, got to go. Yep, you'll see me in the shop in the morning for a little bit. I got to go get the big crane. It's down at Triumph. Had a job over the weekend. Soldier Dirt every 3 years for Con Expo. You guys are complaining about a little rain. It's actually snowing here, I think, or spitting snow. Digging Okay, Con Expo 2020 is on your schedule. Sweet. We will have to, at some point, get some phone numbers exchanged so we can run into each other out there. Project Ninja says goes to the Farm Progress Show every other year. It's in Boone, Iowa. What kind of stuff do they have there? I mean, I know it's agricultural stuff, but is it like just tractors and combines, or do they have some equipment? Because I know almost every farm around here owns a dozer, and a lot of them have an old backhoe or an excavator. In Boone, Iowa, that wouldn't be too, I don't think that'd be too far of a drive. Oh, Soldier Dirt says it's on his schedule too. Giant meet and greet with cameras and videos. That'd be awesome. We could do it. I'm going to try to get Brandon out there with Elite. Barry Hansen, how are you doing? Just got in from shopping. Forgot about this time difference. Josh Wellner, you can keep the snow. Yeah. Dickard with Dave sent me a picture on Google Hangouts a while back. They got 16 inches of snow, I think, up in Canada. I think what he showed me. So 16 inches of snow already. No thanks. John Warren says they have all kinds of equipment there, mainly farm equipment. Do they have any cranes at all at that show in Iowa? But I mean, even if they don't have cranes, I'd still go up and check the stuff out. And then those that have been to Con Expo, don't they have like a crane rodeo at Con Expo where they like have some crane set up and you do some crane challenges, stand a piece of pipe up and set it in stuff, whatnot? Project Ninja said, oh, yeah, they have all that stuff. They have all the autonomous stuff, demo grounds, lots of stuff. Huh. I might have to check that one up in Iowa out. Barry Hansen says this where you're going to cope. I'm not sure I understand that, Barry. I think you may have a couple typos in there. Oh, Soldier Dirt said not that he's aware of. They do for excavators and mini X's. Oh, John Warren says he's never seen cranes there other than overhead cranes. Oh, with the ag show in Iowa. Because we do a fair amount of crane work on farms, for grain elevators and bucket elevators and whatnot. Oh, the snow. Yeah, I'm not a fan of snow. I'm not a fan of winter. Spring and fall are actually spring first and then fall are my favorite seasons. But the way our weather's been lately, like coming out of winter last year, we didn't have a spring. It went from winter to summer. And then what it's looking like now is it's going to go from summer to winter. We're not really going to have much of a fall. Which may be bad because we're contemplating driving out to my in-laws' place in Colorado for Thanksgiving, but that's going to be dependent on weather. Christabel, I can't see anything on here. Is the screen black or is it all blurry? I mean, is anybody else having trouble seeing? Jason Helsley, I love winter. I can't do the heat of summer like I used to be able to. Mid-America Truck Show in Louisville. Louisville is only about an hour and a half from Logger Wade. Brian Gardner, don't let's dig 18 in the excavator rodeo. Barry said had it last week, stopping him from polishing. I checked out some of that stuff you were talking about, Barry, and that stuff's expensive. Project News said they have a whole vendor list online. Yeah, I'll go check it out. Soldier Dirt's supposed to be a bitter winter in Texas. Just hope the roads don't ice up. I don't know where you're at in Texas, but up where I'm at, we get Minnesota winters and Texas summers. Jason Helsley said Louisville is 2.5 hours north. My family and I are actually going back out Wade's direction for spring break next spring, and we're going to make our way over to Louisville. So when we do, I will give you a heads up before we get there. Sid Vicious told me about that. It said the last Con Expo we went to, the cat guys wouldn't let the Asian guys go in there with cameras. Soldier of Dirt missed the Link Belt Rodeo Challenge by 1 ball in the Dallas area. Jake Break asks, any thoughts on the Steve Wade weirdness? I don't know. I talked to Wade, but I've never talked to Steve. He wasn't. I didn't get to spend a lot of time with him when my son and I were down there because Wade's job site was 2 hours away. So I didn't get to meet Steve, but I don't know. I don't know what they got going on. JB98 got a roll, early start in the morning. Hey, thanks for watching, JB98. Congrats for making the news. When you're signaling those cranes, don't put them in a bad position. Keep the dirty side down. So be safe out there, man. John Warren, Project Ninja goes every year for free. I'm assuming the Project Ninja's asking John Warren if he's a vendor or just has contacts. So you go to that farm show for free. What do they charge for that? Actually, I'll just look it up online when I get done here. Jason Huxley says he thinks there's some butt hurt going on between them, according to one of Stevie's videos. I'm staying out of that. I don't have a dog in that fight. Lucker Wade is funny. Man, if you could bottle his energy. Oh, a $10 entry fee to go to that farm show. That's nothing. I'm not sure how far away Boone, Iowa is, but from St. Joe, it'd be pretty easy to figure it out. But. Oh, just lost my chat. Where'd my chat go? Got to go through this again. All right, got my chat back. Yeah, hopefully when we're down at Wade's over spring break, I'll get to jump in some of his equipment and play around a little bit. John Warren says less than 3 hours. That's pretty close by. So that must be not far from Des Moines. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Soldier of Dirt, if I ever make it to the Dallas, Texas area, look me up. I've got a brother that lives down in Tyler, Texas. I think that's about 70 or 80 miles east. It was 3.5 hours. That's not too bad. Sid Vicious, we did get the barges unloaded. All almost 6 million pounds of coiled steel. Soldier of Dirt, I do know there's some good crappie fishing down there around Tyler. My brother and I went out one night and just killed them. And big crappie, nothing like what we have in Missouri. They're 17, 18-inch crappie consistently. Soldier of Dirt said that there is, and then he corrected his spelling on there. We're not here to critique you on your spelling. Grammar's not really important. As long as you can make it where I can read it, I'm good. talked to Jason Works a little bit ago. He's got to work tonight. That guy, he never sleeps. But if you guys haven't checked him out, go watch some of his videos and give him a subscription. He's funny. So who else we have on here? We got 33 people watching. Looks like John Warren, Project Ninja, videos by Al are all trying to work out their locations. I think you guys are all pretty close together. Jason digging okay says Jason is a hoot. That's a fact. It's too funny with the animal heads. Those animal heads are creepy. Jason did not get the ring last night. So at some point when Brandon does another live stream with Jason on it, we've got to get over 60 people on that live stream. Or if Jason does a live stream, we've got to get over 60 people on it. Ken Gamble, how are you doing tonight? Because I think that was Jason's threshold for proposing to his girlfriend is once he got to 60 people on that live stream, he was going to propose. I'm like, she must be a very patient individual for him to put that kind of stipulation on it and be okay with it. Because I know if I told my wife, hey, I'm not going to propose to you unless I get 60 viewers on YouTube on a live stream, she probably would have just told me no before I even asked the question. Brandon does have some good videos. So Elite Earth, I think everybody that's on here though is subscribed to Elite Earthworks. If you're not, you should be. Just excuse Jason got cold feet. He ain't going to do it. Yeah, that's up to Jason. Jason Hilton, my girlfriend says I'm too stubborn to ask. And really, if you think about the concept of marriage, how jacked up is that someone came up with the idea, hey, I love you so much, I'm going to get the legal system involved. I mean, think about that. Because at that point, what's yours is hers and what's hers is hers. Ken Gamble, dang man, you talk about RC cars and crappie fish, and now I know I like you. Hey, if you ever make it to Northwest Missouri, look me up. We'll go do some crappie fishing. I'll drag out some old RC cars and we'll tear it up. Soldier of Dirt says I'm divorced, so I can't attest to it. Yeah, I don't know what our forecast tomorrow is. I know there's a chance of rain and snow tonight. Let's see what it shows for tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be chilly. Looks like cloudy and 49 with a high and 29 for a low tomorrow. So I'll be working. We worked Saturday. We thought we were going to be working Saturday and Sunday this weekend, but we ended up getting our job done Saturday. But it was in a facility that I couldn't record in. But I left the crane there, so we got to go back and get it in the morning, get it back to the shop. And then I've got a job Tuesday that hopefully I can get some footage on. But we're setting a 15,000-pound rooftop unit. I think we're setting it at about a 100-foot radius. So that should be a good one for some boom deflection. Digging okay says he's going to wait till morning to make the call, hoping he can work in the mud. Alex Williamson's Adventures, how are you doing tonight? Highs in the 40s here in North Texas. Wow. Yeah, James Bergeron. Same thing here. We've had some weird weird weather. Ken Campbell said I'd send you some sunshine, but we're kind of short on that at the moment. Hey, there's Dickard with Dave. He's back. How are you doing, Dave? I was just telling everybody about your 16 inches of snow you had recently. Ken Campbell says kind of cool here at 80. I think you're in Arizona somewhere, aren't you, Ken? What's wrong with your girlfriend? Yeah, I'm not looking forward to winter. I could do without it. He's building igloos. Sid Vicious 89 and 78. I think Sid's down in Florida. And Sid Vicious, we're going to be down that way next summer sometime. I think since my daughter's graduating next spring from high school, we let her choose a family vacation for us all to go to or go on before she goes off to college. So she chose Florida. We're going to spend, I think, one day at Universal and then go check out Kennedy Space Center and hang out at the beach some. And I won't be getting in the ocean, but we're going to go check some stuff out. Alex Williamson's adventure says pretty sucky. Hurricane Michael left quite a mess down here in North Carolina. I saw that. There was a lot of devastation from that hurricane. Sid Vicious, I'm thinking we're going to be around the Orlando area. And I've got another channel I got to meet up with while I'm down there. And I'd love to meet up with you while I'm down there. But Jimmy's Tractor, he's down there in Florida somewhere. So I'm going to try to run into him. Jason Heltzley asked a good question. What are the temperature tolerances on the operations of the cranes? How hot and cold can it be before you can't work? The low side is minus 13 for the big Tadano. That's Fahrenheit. And then the high side, I think, is like 115. I'd have to reference the book to know for sure, but the low side's minus 13 Fahrenheit. Project Ninja. You guys get a layer of snow and school gets canceled up here in the north. We have to get 6+ to get school canceled. That's true. Sid Vicious, why not in the ocean? I've got a phobia of things that can kill me. And there's a lot of things in the ocean that can kill me. And so my motto is 100% of ocean-related fatalities involve being in or on the ocean. So as long as you're not in or on the ocean, nothing that is in the ocean is going to kill you. Alex Williamson's still without power, and it's been four days. Phew. Project Ninja. It's funny watching people from the south drive in snow and ice. Actually, one year when I went to my brother's in Tyler, Dallas got its record snowfall as we were driving through there. And they had all the highways and stuff shut down. I think they got 6 or 7 inches of snow in an hour. And the highway patrol actually stopped me. And he said, this highway is closed. If you go on it is to your own accord. We can't come rescue you. And then he looked at my license plate. He said, you're from Missouri. He said, go ahead. You're fine. Let's see. Let me get caught back up. Bad 355 Camaro. That's a new name. Welcome to the channel. I am not the owner or partial owner. I'm just an employee. Dickard with Dave. They got 16 inches of snow and the school is still open. Digging okay. His link belt has no temperature ratings. I would assume that link belt doesn't have many ratings other than a load chart. Sid Vicious. I guess he doesn't like my philosophy about the ocean. Josh Wellner, so I'll never get you on a boat. Okay, so I can't say that completely. We drove out to California. We did the whole Griswold trip a few years ago, and like almost followed their path completely. We stayed in Albuquerque, New Mexico the first night, Las Vegas the second night, and then drove to Newport Beach the third night. And I actually had fun riding on the little. They had a little ferry that would haul 3 cars at a time, running out to, I don't remember what the name of the little island is right there by Newport Beach, but um, I just thought it was amazing that I was in my car on the ocean running back and forth to this island. So I did it several times. But um, and we did go on a whale watching deal, but that was on a boat small enough that I could reach the guy driving it if need be. If he started doing something squirrely, I could go line him out. So on a smaller boat, I would probably be okay. Some friends of mine are trying to get me to go on a cruise, and I don't know about a cruise ship. 6,000 people on a boat. What if someone gets sick? Then everybody's sick, and you see them catching on fire and breaking down, and I just don't know that that's my thing. But Josh Wellner, you might get me on a boat. Wayne Tharp, how are you doing, Wayne Tharp? So I'm not sure who this channel is. Says he needs a shout out. Welcome to my channel. Typically, that's not how you go about asking for a shout out. Digging okay, it does have a load chart. It's probably the load chart for that old link belt you got is probably scribed in a stone tablet. Digging okay, I'm with you on the cruise ship. Alex Williamson's interested. That's just what you see on the news. Now, Josh, if that's your boat, I'd be okay going on a little trip with you, as long as you keep me where I can see land. We'll be fine. If you get me out where I can no longer see land, you and I probably aren't going to be friends very long. John Warren says, once you do a cruise, you'll want to do another one. I don't know. I don't know, man. They had the one over by Italy. It rolled over on its side because the guy up top evidently forgot that he was running a cruise ship and ran it into the ground. And then I don't remember which cruise line it was. All in one year, they had one catch on fire. They had one that just broke down in the middle of the ocean. So how do you explain that to 6,000 people? Like, hey, our alternator quit. We can't get back. So they had to tow them in. One lost the ability to make fresh water, so all they had to drink was soft drinks and liquor, which, I mean, I suppose at that point that's okay, but no toilets could be flushed, no showers. And then what happened to there was one other one that's something, someone got on there and was sick, and then all 6,000 people were sick. So, yeah, I don't know. Josh Wellner, Barry Hansen, take a bowl of soil with me. I'm thinking I'll just stand right up there next to where Josh is driving that boat and make sure he keeps it steered to where we can see some dirt. Sid Vicious says he's done a few cruises, but after the third day, he's done with it. Exactly. Wayne Thorpe. Cruises are all fun and games, so everybody gets food poisoning. True story. Jason Heltz, I think it might have been Carnival, but I'm not sure. Kim Gamble on one of those big ships. I'd have a fishing line out the back. It'd be my luck. I'd like snag some world record marlin or something, and it would break off because the ship's not going to stop while I sit there and fight that fish. Alex Williamson's adventure said that he's been on one, didn't get sick, nor did his ship catch on fire. You, sir, are lucky. I don't know. I just one of those things, I guess. Jordan Hatley, how are you doing this evening? Josh Wellner, All Rock, it's Maine. Wayne Tharp, that's true. If I can't fish off of it, I don't need a board. Alex Williamson's Adventure said, but you only care about the stuff on the news. Some of the stories are fabricated. Some of the bear attacks are fabricated too, and I'm not going to go hang out with a bunch of bears. I mean, that's just how I choose to stay alive. Christabel, how are you doing tonight? Oh, that sounds like a bad deal. 355 Camaro went on a cruise ship to Bermuda, hit 2 hurricanes on the way there and 1 on the way back. Dickered with Dave. He said he could do a river cruise. We could make that happen. There's a river not far from my house. Jordan Hatley, I'm doing good. I ended up having Sunday off, so that I got a little bit of a weekend. Had to work yesterday, but Big Guns, how are you doing, Big Guns? James Bergeron says he feels the same way about an airplane. Someone on one of the comments of the video said aluminum tubing in the sky. Yeah. Sid Vicious, never mind the cruise. We need to get you on a surfboard. Nope. Not gonna happen. Mm-mm. Not gonna get on a surfboard. I watched that series on Discovery Channel, and people on surfboards, when a great white shark is looking up from the bottom, they look like a seal. What do sharks eat? They eat seals. I'll watch. If you want to surf, that's fine. I'll watch. If you get in trouble out there, I'm going to call for help, but I'm probably not running out there to get you. Wayne Tharp, Dave, you talking about homemade wooden raft or a river cruise? So I'm going to try to. I was talking or telling Dave a little bit about this the other day. I'm going to try to maybe Memorial Day weekend here in the States, get some people together in the Midwest to meet up, some YouTubers. So Dickard with Dave, West Coast Alex. I'll put together a list of people and I'll send out invitations to try to get some people here. Memorial weekend happens to be when they're running the Top Fuel dragsters at Topeka. So that would be a pretty cool event for all of us to go hang out at. But let me know what you guys think about that. We'll see if we can put something together. John Warren thinking Jimmy swims like a rock. I can swim. I'm just not going to swim with things that can kill me. Choose options. Targets coming by. We'll put the pontoon on the Ohio River and cruise down past Louisville. That Ohio River down there in Louisville, that thing's pretty impressive. I don't know how many rivers converge right there, but there is a big old expansive body of water right there in Louisville. Wayne Thorpe, your chances of being struck by lightning are way higher the bear or shark attack, especially if you hang out with a 300-foot lightning rod for a living. You know, I don't really have much of a rebuttal for that. Blue Line Landworks, how are you doing, Blue Line? That's another channel everybody needs to check out. He actually has a video that has gone somewhat viral, over 100,000 views. And Blue Line, feel free to throw a link to that video in here. I have not been to Vermont, Chris. Mr. Sykes, hello from Wales, UK. I'm doing well. How are you doing? That is a long ways away. That's on the other side of the Atlantic. Blue Line's getting ready to go to work. This late. Oh, you're a law enforcement out there. I think sheriff or something, aren't you? Blue Line. Tom Warren, I guess I live on the edge of life. I'm very adventurous. Oh, just started graveyard shift for the next 4 months. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm pushing my envelope enough being a crane operator. I don't need to tempt more than that. Let's see, soldier. I do follow Jay Paydirt. I'm friends with Jeff on Facebook. Um, I follow him on Instagram and then also on YouTube. Ed 4x4 used to live 1/8 mile from Heartland Park. I try to go down there at least every other year. Watch Top Fuels. So Blue Line, thanks for your service as law enforcement. Stay safe out there. I know you're out there on the West Coast, out in the middle of the wilderness. But Blue Line has some spectacular drone footage. And you'd probably be interested to know I'm this close to buying a DJI Spark. I figured that would be a decent entry level way to get into playing with a drone and see if I can make it work out. Jason Helsley said, "You're on Facebook. I tried to find you but couldn't." I am on Facebook. Jason, I will find you and send you a friend request. James Bergeron's never been to a drag race before. Top Fuel cars are phenomenal. I know they just go real fast in a straight line, but the thing I like about them is they take a 500 cubic inch engine and they make 8,000 horsepower with it. That to me blows my mind. Oh, it's 1:10 a.m. over there. Let's see. Blue Line says he's also officially owns Blue Line Landworks LLC now and have our first couple jobs lined up doing logging. You are a busy fella. Christy Bell. I need to start writing down people that I need to find on Facebook, it looks like. I'm also on, I've got an Instagram if anybody wants to find To the Top Crane on Instagram. I've been playing around with it a little bit, but I haven't done, I mean, I post some pictures and a couple short videos, but I haven't done a whole lot with it because I'm still trying to figure it all out. But YouTube is my main platform, so that's where I spend most of my time. Oh, Blue Line has a website, bluelinelandworks.com. I imagine your drone probably helps you out a lot with that logging part of it. John Avery asks, have I seen how they test Top Fuel superchargers? I have not, but I've seen there's a cool video on YouTube of the fuel demonstration of how much fuel they burn. And it shows how much fuel goes into one cylinder during idle burnout and then a full pass. And it's mind boggling. James Bergeron, if you have not been to a drag race, go to a Top Fuel drag race sometime. Make sure you take ear protection because you are going to need it. When the cars are going over the finish line, if you're sitting at the starting line, when they're going over the finish line a quarter mile away, your eyeballs are still rattling in your head. Okay, I got to try to get caught up on comments here. Jason Nelson lives about 30 minutes west of Bowling Green, home of the famous Beach Bend Raceway. Check them out. Yeah, I'll check them out for sure. Blue Line hoping to use it before and afters. That's cool. So does anybody on here have one of the DJI Sparks? I know Blue Line's running a Mavic or a Mavic Pro, but has anybody played with one of the Sparks yet? And I know Andy with Cut and Clean, he's got one and told me he loves it, other than the flight time's only 16 minutes. Digging okay if I get a drone, check out the Litchi app. Okay. Wayne Tharp asked the question, what drone would you, and I asked Blue Line about that quite a while back, and I was pretty intrigued with that Mavic that he's got because the flight time's almost 30 minutes, but that's a pretty big investment. I can buy 2 Sparks for the price of a Mavic. Mr. Dan's got to go. Hope everybody has a good and safe week. Hey, thanks for stopping in, Mr. Dan. Babcock Farms, how are you doing? That's another new name, I think. So welcome to the channel. Ryan Gardner is looking at the Parrot Bebop 2. Digging okay has the Phantom 3 standard. Phantom 3 advanced. $355 Camaro's Phantom 3 Pro and loves it. Would upgrade to a newer. So the Mavic Air would probably be the middle between the Pro and the Spark. All right, I don't know. That might be one of those. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. I tend to do that. But Josh Wellner, you get what you pay for. That's true. There's no denying that. But that Spark is supposed to be packed with features for like right around $500. Mr. Sykes says only fast car he drives an Audi R8 V8. That's a pretty fast car. But he'd rather drive his John Deere. Oh, the Bebop is 300. Wayne Tharp, Santa is coming, Jimmy. I haven't even put that on Santa's list yet. So I made a note on that whatever that Bebop. I've never even heard of it, but I'll check it out. And Project Ninja says he likes how the Mavic is small. The Phantom 3 is pretty big. The Spark's like half the size of a Mavic. Ryan Gardner. Oh, for $300, it's got a 2-mile range. That's pretty good. 355 Camaro Sparks are nice, but because they're small, they're a little susceptible to wind. I can see that. Josh Waller, I'm not telling you what to do. Just saying. Oh, you can tell me what to do. It doesn't mean I'm still going to do it, but. Oh, search on YouTube how to make 11,000 horsepower Don Schumer Racing. That's crazy. 11,000 horsepower. Soldier of Dirt. I forgot what drone Big Deal 18 has. I think he's got a Phantom, but I'm not sure. Chris DeBow is going to go to excavator school next year. Well, I hope you get into that. That'd be a good one to go to. Mr. Sykes says, right, he's off to work in the morning. Have to hit the sub and like and take care of everyone. Well, thanks for stopping in, Mr. Sykes. And like I make this channel for you guys. So if there's something you guys want to see, throw it out there. I'll try to remember to make a video about it. I do my best to try to remember. I've got a lot of balls in the air that I juggle, but suggestions are always welcome, and don't hesitate to ask questions because I'll do my best to answer them. The factory for cat excavators, Victoria, Texas. Blue Line wants me to a meet my family video. That would be pretty cool, but my wife's being pretty camera shy, and I don't get it. I don't like talking in front of a big group of people, like an audience that I can see. At first, this kind of bugged me, but I don't mind it now, but she has got a phobia of being on my camera. So I don't know. I'm sure we can get something put together. Let's see. So Jason Helsley asked how I'm going to auction the axe off when the time comes. Um, I'm thinking what I'm going to do is have everybody submit a bid to my email account, and then I'll open the emails, and the highest bidder is going to get it. But I'm not going to do it on a live stream because then people can see what everybody's bidding. And sure, that could turn into a bidding war, but I also want to make it as fair as possible. And I don't want someone to feel compelled to pay more than what they can afford just because someone else bid, $10 more than them. I want to keep it in a way where everybody bids what they're comfortable with and what they can afford to part with. And the only way to do that is to do it in a private setting. So that's probably how I'll go about it. But I mean, that was one idea that I had, and I think that would probably be a decent way to go about it. And then for payment, it would have to go. Basically, I would screenshot the email with the highest bid, and I would show everybody that screenshot. And then payment would have to probably go to my PayPal. And then I would take a check to the radio station, and on behalf of my subscribers to YouTube and the YouTube channel, to donate to the radio station for their hope for the holidays. And I would video all of that. That way everybody knows it's legit and I'm not selling it and keeping the money and all that. I don't want it to be I don't want it to be like that. So let me get caught up again. Maybe she can borrow an animal head. Jason Helsley said, sounds like a good plan. Looks like it'd be a good wood splitter. I don't know that you'd want to split anything with that. I think that's a pretty old axe head. I mean, sure, it would do it, but it's almost like a work of art. Ken Gamble says he really likes that on the bidding. Christopher Doyle, I just wanted to say, seemed like a pretty cool dude with an awesome channel. Well, thanks, Chris. I'm just your average everyday guy. I'm really laid back and I'm just me. But thanks for the compliment. Thanks for stopping in. And you said with a really awesome channel, sure, I created this channel, but this channel is your all's channel. And some of my subscribers have been on here for a while, can attest to that I do my best to accommodate everybody's requests on stuff. So I make this channel for you guys. So this is your guys' channel. Brian Gardner, good log splitters, gas powered. But to give you guys an idea of what that is, what that axe head is, it is a True Temper Flit Edge by Kelly Works. And I'm not sure how old that is, but that thing is old. If this thing could talk, I'm sure it's got some stories to tell. So, I mean, sure, you could put it in use, but this is one of those, I think, that it's like an antique gun. I think it's one of those things you just put it up and talk about it. Try to think about the places it's been and who's had their hand swinging it. MSL logging still ain't got the kids in bed. Oh, so much for sleep. So you're back. Well, welcome back, MSL. Soldier Dirt, it is a nice axe, and that came from Stevens Axe Works. So let's see. Hopefully that's focusing. Come on, focus. So you can find Stevens Axe Works on here. Actually, Jennifer Murtha Stevens has a YouTube channel. Josh Miller, just a thought: would a raffle bring more money, and would it be possible? I'm sure a raffle probably would bring more money. I'm not sure how I would go about it. Getting numbers to everybody, and that seems to me like it'd be a logistical nightmare. But I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I might be able to find like an online raffle type of system where you can buy into something and it gives you a number that you hang on to, and we could do it that way. I'll do a little more checking on it when it gets a little closer, but that's gonna happen sometime right around Thanksgiving. Eric Thomas, that would have been cool with you, Elite, Jason, and wives and pets. Yeah, I can't get my wife to come down here and hang out. She did one time. Then that was maybe a month ago on a live stream. My wife and daughter were both on here. MSL said for just a little bit, his phone's at 2%. You're going to run that thing dead. Project Ninja, that's what chargers are for. Sid Vicious asked what the money is going for. Okay, so there's a local radio station in Kansas City that every year they do a Hope for the Holidays. And what it is they they have families that submit requests, and sometimes people do it on a family's behalf. It's people that have suffered catastrophic event like a house fire, or lost a breadwinner in the family, or has someone that's ill. People that are having a tough time paying their bills and making Christmas for their kids and whatnot. And I'm actually getting goosebumps talking about it because they do it every year, every day. I think it's after Thanksgiving. They'll have a few deals on there. And there's some that have literally brought me to tears driving down the road, listening to the stories, and then the people jumping in to help them. So what they do is they tell the story about the family, and then callers will call into the radio station and donate money, and they'll cover their bills that they're behind on. If they've got a car that needs to be repaired, they'll have it taken to a shop and have it repaired. They don't physically transfer money to the family, but they give them gift cards to the grocery store so they can provide their meals. They will find out who their utilities are through, if they have utilities that are behind, and pay those utility bills for them. And they call it a hand up and not a hand out. So they're just trying to give people a hand up getting back on their feet. So that's what the money would go towards. I know that was pretty long-winded, but wanted to make sure I covered it in enough detail everybody understood it. Soldier of Dirt, how did I make the magnet mounts for Chris at Let's Dig? And I've got 2 more mounts to send him. I just haven't had time to ship them. But I get magnets from a local supplier. It's actually a friend of mine that makes cow magnets. And if you've never heard of a cow magnet, Google it. But they're actually cow magnets, and they're epoxied together. And then I just put a GoPro mount on them after I do some grinding and whatnot on them, so they sit flush. But that's how I put them together. Hey, Brandon, how are you doing? Let's see. Got to try to get caught up again. James Berger on that was on the 6-hour live stream when my wife was on with me. That is correct. Let's see. KO, hello from Missouri. Thanks for stopping in. Yep, Sid Vicious, hand up, not a handout. Jeff Skew said that's why I need a hand up. Wayne Thorpe, Alex, I watched a blind neighbor clear 7 acres of thorn trees with a chainsaw from school bus every day for 6 months. You got this. So what did Alex post? I would bet, but it's probably not safe for a blind guy to be wielding an axe. Well, you don't necessarily have to wield it. Just don't cut yourself with it. John Warren, they're doing the same thing we do at Pure Country Livestock Association. So, and I'm one of those people, I try to help people out, just like Brandon with Elite Earthworks. When he first started his channel, I was really pushing hard trying to get people over there to watch his content because he's got great content. And this YouTube stuff is, it's just a matter of getting your content in front of the most people possible. If you're making decent content or good content, the more people that see it, you're naturally going to get more subscribers. So, I really tried to help Brandon out a lot in the beginning, and Jason and Wade helped me out a lot. Chris with Let's Dig, he did a shout out on one of his videos for me. And it really kind of turns into a big family kind of atmosphere, but it's all a matter of helping each other out and get established and get your name out. Brandon says, what kind of projects have been working on? Coiled steel last week, basically all week last week. And then Saturday, like yesterday, we had to set some cooling towers 80 feet up in the air on top of a building they were 25,000 pounds a piece. So that was fun, but I couldn't get any footage. We were in a place that I couldn't record any footage. So Wayne Tharp's got to I think he's got to head to bed. Thanks for stopping in, Wayne. Soldier Dirt just takes time to get the subscribers. That's true. Blue Line says we have good weather now. Should be getting more videos soon. That's good. And Soldier Dirt, you asked about the magnet mounts. I made one for Wade too, and actually a couple of them, and he broke one. But he ended up making his own just using, I think he bought some magnets. They're kind of like CB mount magnets that have a stud on them. And those seem to be working pretty well for Wade. I mean, making a magnet mount's pretty easy. There's not a lot to it. KO, that's a big cooling tower. Local union 649. I'm local 101. Ryan Gardner says, I think if you have good content, people will watch. And that's true. And what blows my mind is all of the stuff I've got on my channel, from setting cell phone towers, which I hate and everybody knows that, to putting houses on basements, bridges, all that stuff. I posted a video almost 2 months ago about shackles, and I'm sure a lot of you guys saw it. And it was actually Sid Vicious that recommended it because we were having a discussion about the different ways to use shackles. And so I said, well, I'll just make a quick video for you. So I made a 13-minute video about shackles, and it's had over 3,000 views. I don't get it. And some of my bigger jobs where we're setting houses on basements and stuff have just over 1,000. Let's see. Jason Helson, leave it to the logger wed to break a cow magnet. That's true. And it was funny when he broke that because I called him. I said, shortly after I sent it to him, I called him on the phone. I said, hey, Wade, when you're using those mounts, you need to make sure that you have a tether attached to them in case you knock one off. And he said, are you psychic? And I said, why? And he said, I just knocked one off about an hour ago. And that was the first video where he had it sitting up on top and it got wiped out by a tree limb and it broke the magnet mount. Digging okay, says I passed him gaining subscribers. I don't know that I necessarily have it going on any more than anybody else. I have a very niche channel. I don't have much competition as far as crane videos go. I think I'm probably the only channel on YouTube that uploads as consistently as I do with crane videos. Other than I think there's a couple over in the Middle East somewhere. But I think I'm the only crane channel on YouTube that consistently uploads crane videos. So that helps me tremendously. So it's not that I have any more personality or any better videos. It's just I don't have the competition that, like what Digging OK's got with digging basements and stuff. There's several channels out there doing that. So there's a lot to choose from. But also, I guess that could kind of be a hindrance too, because videos get suggested side by side. So if you're watching one of Let's Dig's videos, Digging OK is probably going to have a video and suggestions. Well, there's less of that kind of content for me to be suggested next to. So now I am way behind on comments. Let me get caught back up here. Alex Williamson's Ventures got a video coming up a couple of weeks, but I think all you construction guys are going to be very excited about it. Get it thrown out there. We'll definitely watch it. Soldier Dirt, I've seen those. Also seen the flagging magnets for permitted loads used. Yeah, and those would be a good one. And that actually may be what Wade's using, but I'm not sure. I can call him and find out. But James has one mount made for his ball cap when he goes to events so he can have his camera on his head. That's a good idea. Jason Heltzley. Even though I know he broke the camera mount part, not the magnet. It actually broke the magnet itself when it fell. Sort of just like how am I read? Yeah, almost 97,000 views on how to read grade stakes. Digging OK says welding videos do better than digging videos. There's probably more people looking for suggestions on welding. So that's probably where that's coming from. Brian Gardner, logger wake to break a crowbar in a sand pile. True story. Jeff Skews don't have patience to do video stuff. Brandon, that's true. Lots of excavation channels on YouTube, not too many crane channels. Christy Bow asks, how many years have I worked on a crane? I've been involved in cranes, heavy equipment since I was 18. I'm 41. But the crane side of it for about the last 10 or 12 years or so. Brian Gardner, yeah, I think a lot of people watching people build something out of nothing. Yeah. Yeah, editing the content does make a difference. So I try to keep the relevant stuff in a video, and I try to edit where there's something going on pretty consistently throughout the whole thing. But crane work is slow by nature. Anybody that's been around cranes, I know Sid Vicious has, he was a superintendent, but anybody that's been around cranes knows that crane work is terribly slow at times. So it's sometimes hard for me to take, like a lot of what you guys are seeing in a 15 or 20-minute video is an 8-hour day or a 12-hour day. So there's a lot of editing that I have to go through to put a video together. Josh Wellner, when am I doing the one on hydraulics? Probably next time I have to make a repair on something, I'll dive more into that. And I don't know how deep you guys want me to get with hydraulics. I got to try to keep stuff somewhat toned down where everybody can understand it, because I have people from all walks of life watching my channel. And so I don't want to get into variable displacement piston motors and, the theories behind them and all of that, and then have someone click on it and, so I don't know. I may do two different kinds of videos, one that's a little more in depth and one that's pretty basic. Blue Line Landworks, waiting to see how the drama between Wade and Stevie turns out. I swear they staged it for more views. I don't know. Brandon, what equipment were you running before I got into cranes? Well, straight out of high school, I was operating a backhoe on top of a train. There's a company in my local area called Herzog Contracting, and they have a machine called a car topper, and there's YouTube videos of those. So I did that off and on for a couple years. And then went to work for a crane or an equipment rental company. It was RSC Equipment Rental. They were bought out by United Rentals, and I worked with them for 10 years as a field mechanic. and then got in the operators union, and so I've been involved in heavy equipment in some facet since I was 18. James Bergeron, I'll watch both of them. Hydraulics can be confusing, and they can be, but if you remember that it's just fluid moving, it makes it a little easier to understand. But I'll get into some hydraulic stuff for you guys. Sid Vicious, don't have to go crazy on hydraulics. Just give the basic principle of small cylinder to big cylinder kind of thing. It really is magic. James Berger on those car toppers are crazy machine, but they're cool though. Yeah, and I did it I traveled all over the country, mainly west of the Mississippi River doing that. But I made it a little ways out east, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, running a car topper. But most of my stuff was, I think I worked in like 38 different states one year. So I wasn't at any one place very long. So yeah, I'll see. I mean, I don't know what my day is going to consist of tomorrow. I know I got to bring the big crane back to the shop. Um, if we don't have a whole lot going on when I get it back, then I can see about throwing together something on a hydraulic video for you guys. Digging okay. So you used to see Herzog around there. I actually worked down around El Reno, Oklahoma for about a month, unloading railroad ties with a car topper. That was back in 96, maybe. Brian Gardner. Herzog is a large railroad maintenance and rail building company. And a lot of people don't understand, too, they own shipyards. They have a highway department, an asphalt plant. They are a very large company, and it all started with one man that he used to drive a concrete truck. And he ended up buying the company he was working for, the concrete ready mix company. And it was Herzog Ready Mix. And then he got involved in asphalt, and then he got involved in the railroad, and it just exploded from there. They're very innovative and do a lot of cool stuff. I've got a video that's several months or 3 or 4 months old that we went in and picked a custom made piece of machinery that Herzog had built, and it's on here. Let's see, Jason Heltz, you going deep into hydraulics? Be like me, going deep into how fire pumps work and how to operate them on engines. James Bergeron, we have KCS Railroad that runs through the middle of town here. KCS is based out of Kansas City. Oh, Brandon, yeah, you recommended that before. The Oroville Dam spillway, and I wrote it down and I forgot to go check that out. So my apologies on that. Brian Gardner, they have a large contract to maintain a rail line in New Mexico. Yeah, they're a global company. Herzog is, and it's still owned by the Herzog family. But we do some crane work for them from time to time. All right, Project Ninja's got to head out for the night. Hey, thanks for stopping in. As always, I appreciate everybody that comes in and throws comments in and likes videos, and giving a thumbs up on a video definitely helps the channel analytics. Brandon, those car toppers are pretty cool. Never seen one in person. It's just a modified backhoe is all it is. Babcock Farms at Two Top Crane. Nice model crane in the background. Thank you. I've got its sibling sitting over here that I was using for jib demonstration a little bit ago. Let's see. Jason Halsey said we have RJ Corman that runs locally, based out of Nicholasville, Kentucky, CSX. Yeah, and I've done work on about every major rail line BNSF, UP, SP, CSX, KCS. Man, I don't even remember the names of all of them, but running a car topper, we were all over the place. Brian Gardner asked when I got the second crane. I did a quick live stream on Friday. Tadano sent me a care package with a couple hats, that crane, some stickers, a USB flash drive. So, but yeah, it showed up Friday, Brian. Brandon asked how I like my Ram. I like it. Ford, Dodge, and Chevy. I mean, there's a lot of personal preference. They all move you down the road, but I mean, I'm a fan of the Cummins engine. I'm a fan of having a solid axle in the front end. Um, Nothing against Chevy. I mean, the Chevy drivetrain's good drivetrains, but they've got a lot of moving parts in the front end, and so I tend to stay away from all that. But I like the Ram. It tows well. It gets decent fuel economy for what it is. I mean, when I drove down to Wade's, I averaged 24 miles a gallon on that round trip, and that's a 3/4 ton crew cab 4-wheel drive diesel. So that's not too bad. James Berger, I've only seen car toppers on video, never in person. Brandon, good to see that Tadano likes the channel. Tadano actually shared one of my pictures on Instagram on their Instagram account the other day too. Soldier of Dirt says he thinks he needs to get an individual camera for live streaming. My built-in camera seems to not like YouTube. I use a Logitech. I don't know what the model number is. I'd have to look. I can send you the information. I've got your email now from when you send it to me to chat with Brandon. Brian Gardner, my rant. It's a 2014. Brandon said the Cummins is a great engine. Power Strikes had their share of problems, and all of them have their own inherent problems. And I used to own a 6-liter Power Stroke, and it's a great engine. And I'm probably going to catch some flack for this, but the 6-liter, as designed by International, and International used it in a lot of their mid-sized trucks, like the International CXT and some of the others. They never had any issues with it. And all of the research I did, and I ended up bulletproofing mine. I did head studs, new heads, all kinds of stuff to it, 4-inch exhaust, you name it, I did it to it. What it boiled down to was the coolant that Ford used in them, and then the programming that Ford used in them. Let's see. Ken Gamble, thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I love these live streams. I love chatting with everybody about stuff. But back to the 6-liter. Ford used their Ford Gold coolant in it, and it's got a lot of silica. And when the silica would pass through the EGR cooler, the silica would actually separate out of the coolant and create like snot inside of the oil cooler and EGR cooler because of the temperature of the coolant going through the EGR cooler. Had they used like Caterpillar Red extended life coolant or Shell Rotella ELC, they might not have had the issues that they had. Well, once the oil cooler plugged up and then the EGR cooler failed, then coolant was allowed to go into the combustion chamber, which created a higher than normal cylinder pressure, which tended to pop the head gaskets. So basically everything that Ford ran into with the 6-liter boiled down to the coolant that they put into it. And the programming. I mean, they bumped it. International, I think they had it set at 225 or 250 horse, and Ford turned them up a little bit. And, between the programming and the coolant, they had a lot of problems with it. But you can buy those 6-liter trucks for fairly reasonable and put some money in them and have a heck of a strong running truck with very good longevity. So I jokingly say the 6 in 6.0 stands for $6,000. If you're willing to spend $6,000 on a truck that you buy to bulletproof it and do all this stuff, then it's a great engine. And the torque shift transmission is a fantastic transmission. Let's see. Blue Line says Dad's got a 2017 F350 and it's amazing. And that's the Ford designed Scorpion 6.7, and they're a good engine. Digging okay says he's not a fan of the Tier 4 diesels at all. Mine's a Tier 4. It's got DEF. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I hate the fact that we're paying $15 for 2.5 gallons of water and synthesized urine, and then you've got all the plastic jugs and everything that are floating around out there. But that's how they keep the power ratings up, is with the DEF. If they took the DEF out, they would have to tune the engine back, and you wouldn't get the power out of them like what they're able to roll out of the factory with. Soldier Dirt 81. Again, everybody go check his channel out. Thanks for stopping in. Hopefully you can work tomorrow if you're wanting to work tomorrow. I don't know if you're wanting to or not, but if you're wanting to, hopefully you can. Okay, trying to keep up with everybody here. Brandon says he's not a fan of these half-ton diesel trucks. What's the point? So, yeah, like Nissan, you can get a little V8 Cummins in a Nissan, and it costs $900 more to get a 6.7 Cummins in a 3/4 ton Dodge that'll tow 20,000 pounds. I mean, for me to spend the amount of money that Nissan wants for a small V8 Cummins in a Nissan pickup, I'll spend $900 more and buy the Ram with a 6.7 in it. Jason Helsley says fleet of ambulances run the 7360 and 6.7. I had Mike Manford asked that I've never had any trouble with my DEF pump. Knock on wood. Jason Helsley said they have a few with a V10. And I'll touch back again on the 6 liter some more real quick. Another thing that people don't understand is they hear about all the horror stories that they had with the 6 liter. Ford sold more diesel trucks than Chevy and Dodge combined with that 6 liter engine in it. So naturally, since there's more of them out there, there's going to be more issues. But as long as you know what you're getting into and are willing to put some money in it, it's a great way to go. And the half-ton diesels, yeah, I don't get it. And I saw a Chevy Colorado yesterday. It was a Colorado ZR2 with a small Duramax in it. And I don't get that. So I guess it's because they see the market share. You know, there's a lot of people buying diesel pickups, and there's a lot of people that buy diesel pickups that never use them for what they're intended. And, you know, they are efficient. You know, my truck compared to the same truck with a Hemi in it, it's night and day on the fuel economy. But also my services are twice as expensive or 3 times as expensive. By the time I put 3 gallons of Rotella T6 in it, I don't even remember what it is, a gallon anymore. And then my fuel filters, and you know, for me to service my truck myself with just fuel filters, oil and filters, $200. So I don't know. There's also more 4-wheel drive vehicles that never get put in 4-wheel drives than there are 4-wheel drive vehicles that get put in 4-wheel drive. John Warren says he loves the 7.3. He's had it new since 97. And digging okay, the simplicity of the mechanical diesels. They'll run as long as they're getting fuel and air. Josh Wellner gets 11.7 in his Ram. Phew. Is that diesel or gas burner? Diesel's more expensive here than it is gas, or than gas. It's what was it last time I filled up? I think $2.99 or $3 for diesel, and I think $2.70 something or $2.80 for gas. So Josh Wellner's getting 11.7 miles per gallon in his Ram, and like I said, when I made that trip to Indiana, I averaged 24 on the whole trip. That was city driving. That was driving through St. Louis, driving around downtown Louisville, some of the backcountry roads around Wade's place. When Wade lives out in the sticks, some of the roads out there are goat paths, and on that whole trip, I averaged 24. But I don't understand the logic that a lot of people have with buying a diesel pickup when they're not really using it, and that actually in and of itself spurs a lot of trouble with some of the emissions stuff. The emissions on the diesel engines require that thing to get up to temperature, so it needs to be working, or it needs to be running down the interstate at a reasonably higher RPM for all the emission stuff to work properly. So if you buy a diesel pickup and you're just using it to cruise around town all the time, you're going to start having trouble with emission stuff. Wow, Barry Hansen, $1.84 a liter there. $4.10 a gallon for diesel in California. $3.50 for gas in Oregon. Blue Line Landworks, hey, be safe out there tonight. Thanks for stopping in and being part of all this. John Warren, trade you fuel price, Jimmy. We're $3.44 for diesel right now. Well, our fuel tax is low in Missouri, and that's why our roads and bridges suck, because our fuel tax is so low. They're actually working on legislation right now to increase our fuel tax, so it's going to make the price per gallon go up. But as long as the greedy people in our capital don't take that fuel tax and earmark it for something else, and they actually put it towards the roads and bridges like they're legislating for, then it'll be a good thing. I don't mind paying a little bit more for fuel to have safer bridges and better highways. But as we all know, a lot of times those taxes get redistributed for other things. So if they do that with it, it'll be a bad thing. That Digging OK is getting 13 with a 2014 350 6.2. It sounds like Michigan's running pretty close to what our fuel prices are here in Missouri. $2.99 for gas and $3.20 for diesel. But we are closing in on the 2-hour mark pretty rapidly. So I'm probably going to shut this down pretty quick. I still haven't eaten yet. So I know I've got a big bowl of homemade potato soup upstairs and some cornbread. So I'm probably going to go mow through some of that here pretty soon, kick back with the family for a little while, and then go to bed and get ready to go to work in the morning. Let's see, Mark Mortensen had the highest fuel tax in the nation, some of the worst bridges. Yeah, that's frustrating when they do that. Take that money and put it somewhere else. James Bergeron have a bridge closed right now after being hit by a crane on a barge. That's no good. Someone got in trouble. Brandon, California raised the fuel tax last year with no public vote. Repeal the tax on the ballot this year. And it should be. The public should absolutely vote on any of those taxes. Mike Manfred, I'm not back at the docks. We're done with that job. Tomorrow is bring the crane home from a job I did Saturday. And then I'm not sure what else. And then Tuesday, setting a 15,000 pound rooftop unit, I think 100 feet back on the roof. So we should get some decent boom deflection video out of that. But as always, I appreciate everybody stopping in and being part of this thing. And like I was talking about earlier, this is your guys' channel. If you want to see something, I will do my best to get it out there. If I forget about it, don't forget to, or don't feel bad about reminding me like, hey, you said you were going to do this and you haven't done it yet. By all means, if I said I was going to do it for you, remind me to do it if I had forgotten. It does help to hit the thumbs up button. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, I would appreciate it. James Norse, how are you doing, James? And I'm actually getting ready to shut this thing down. But thanks for popping in. Babcock Farms, thanks for coming in. All you guys, I appreciate everything you guys do. And you always keep me humble. So with that, To the Top Crane is out.